Hello and welcome to Wine Jam News with me, Sam Cash, your weekly wine news at Friday 8 p.m. So click down below to subscribe and click the notification bell so that you get your weekly wine update. The first piece of news is Hussner was arrested in the Operation Varsity Blues, which was a federal investigation into parents basically putting their children into universities, but defrauding the system by basically bribing certain people to be able to be accepted into those universities. So this is kind of a bit of a turnaround from the usual wine kind of news in that way. It's been in conjunction with Huster's vintners, which have been involved in this whole bribery operation. It's not great news. It's it's bizarre to me actually, really, because it just doesn't seem like it should have any connection to do with universities' applications. But in fact, quite a few high-profile parents have been on this list of people who have bribed people to get their kids into universities. So that's pretty much the news at the moment. He has apparently going to have to pay $95,000 and spend 18 months in prison for these particular bribery accusations. So yeah, go figure. There's a winery getting involved in that. In further news, in France, more than 1,000 bottles of high-value Burgundy was stolen. They were including Ajou and Claude de Vizu. It's reached sort of $100,000 for the wines. It's quite a bigger kind of amount of wines to steal, really, and especially if they knew about the wines they were stealing, it seems like quite a bit of an operation. There's a list of them on the internet, so if you see any of them, obviously please contact some police investigation. But quite amazing that that's only the first piece of sort of stolen wine news that I've got, actually. And the second piece is in America. William Lamont Holder, 54, had stolen between 550,000 and 1.5 million wines from his clients. It's set up in a sort of investment way where he took these wines, he put them in storage for these clients. He charged a certain amount of money for the storage fee, but instead what he did was to sell the wines to retailers and then pocket the money from the wine, so he had nothing to store, which is, it's not great, is it? But I've heard other wine investments going that way, so watch out to any of you out there. In the further news that we've got, which is Robert Parker, he retired. He did the whole 100-point system, which, as I could see on Twitter, seems to be still sort of a sparking of debate whether that is necessary anymore, or whether it still is necessary. For me personally, the fact that he brought wine into that kind of sphere and to bring attention to a lot more different regions, I still think the point system has some significance. I mean, for me personally, I do sort of do my own point system out of 10, really, to kind of gauge what I would consider the wine to be, very good or very bad. I kind of do it to a sense of, it gives me some clarity on the quality, and I think maybe that's the same thing he was trying to do with the wines he was trying to evaluate. So I'm not exactly against it. I think it does have a place. Anyways, it's sad news anyways to hear he's no longer a part of it, really. In further news, Baron de Pichon Longueville Comtesse Lalande, which you might have heard about, which has got to do with a wine bottle that was not sold to the client at Hawksmoor in Manchester. This wine labelled with such a long title compared to the Le Pin I should say, which was instead given, which was £4,500. Funny enough, they are changing their label, Baron de Pichon Longueville, to basically Reserve La Comtesse. So it's a much smaller title, but it's quite funny because that was what I thought was the biggest difference between the two, which was one was such a long title and the other one was such a short title that you can't make any mistake. But clearly it is a bit of a tongue twister to say it, so they've shortened down the label. So look out for the difference. It is actually the same one. And final piece of news is British luxury car maker Rolls-Royce had decided to make this champagne chest, which is going to be £37,000 to purchase one. It has 2 glasses of wines in it. It has holders. Even comes with a caviar and a capsule. It's all very elaborate and expensive. So we're running it, but you know, cool if you want to take that around picnics and yachts. If you obviously need that to go along with it. It's interesting. So I can add to that. Really. All right, thanks very much. I will be back here again Friday 8 p.m. with more wine news. So yeah, see you soon.